It's YouTube Wednesday! Okay, this is a quickie. This meat hook here is good for hanging a hand on or just bloodying up and hanging in a scene. Don't know how well you can see that. There it is. Meat hook. Pretty good size. Meat hook, great for hanging in a scene. It's got a pointy hook and a welded end. And I'll show you how to make 6 of them for about $2. I start with plastic hangers that I got from Dollar Tree. There are 6 of them for $1. Heat gun, soldering iron, and some paint to get the look you want. To make the meat hooks, nice and simple. Open up your hangers. This is kind of already done for you. Break off these little hook pieces, but keep them, know where they are, know where you put them. This is obviously that's going to be your curled end where you hang it from. So this is my hook part. I'm just going to cut this at an angle, a pair of wire cutters here. And that kind of gives me the sharp end of the hook too, because I cut it at an angle. There's a bit of a web here to strengthen up the hanger. I don't need that, so yeah, it's breaking out easy. Grab as close as you can to the rod and give it a twist. These hooks remind me of the kind that hunters hang deer on. They kind of put them through the ankles to hang them up. I would imagine you could do the same with people if you made yourself a couple human pelts. I've broken it off pretty good now, so now I'm just going to melt that down. Just by running the soldering iron over the ridge till the ridge meets up with the rounded part. And that's good enough, just gets it out of there. I'm going to set that down. I like leaving the cord to hang off of the side of the table so it holds the burning tip up off of the table. You cannot make anything cool enough to justify burning your shop down. If you do, make a YouTube video of it. And I just need to heat this really good so I can bend it in that curl in order to make that hook. If this were to catch on fire, it would really smell bad. But just melting it, it's barely releasing any fumes at all. I'm working in a well-ventilated space, just in case. Okay. Alright. Grab it here with the pliers and bend it on around. Okay, and I want to keep it in line pretty much with the hook. This here is a bucket of water. I'm just dipping it in the bucket of cold water, which sets it into that shape right there. And it's just off a little bit. That's okay. Now this piece here, in order to get it where I want it, it's a little bit long, which is how I wanted it. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to use my soldering iron to just push through that extra piece, which leaves me a lot of melted plastic, which I then push together. If I push that plastic together, kind of see how it melted to itself? That's what I want. Remember these little pieces that I said to break off but don't throw away? Well, I'm going to use my soldering iron like it's a soldering iron and basically solder this plastic together with this other plastic. I'm melting this down into a pretty fine paste. It glues to both sides. Pull away. Fill in the gap. And that looks remarkably like a weld. I'm pretty much just welding with plastic. When I got it kind of where I want it, dip it in the water. That's going to set it. Now I can touch it. It's not that hot anymore. Come around to the back side where I have the nub, and I'm just going to push the nub off, because I don't need that nub. This part releases some fumes. So be in a well-ventilated area, maybe have a little fan, whatever you have to do to feel safe and comfortable. And the job is done. Basically now, I'm just messing with it to get the aesthetic that I want. I really want that to look like a weld. Alright, I have basically a meat hook. Alright, I got an end to hang it from. I've got a hook. I do want to bend right here so it looks a little better and hangs a little straighter. Two things. When I made my loop, it's a little bit off center from the hook. The hook shoots up this way and the loop shoots over that way. When I make my bend here, I can fix that. Right here, get this piece good and hot. I'm just aiming at the same spot, but I'm spinning all the way around so I get both sides evenly. Kill it. I'm twisting it a little bit because I wanted it a bit twisted to straighten it up, and then I'm giving it the bend that I want. Once it has the bend that I want, I'm putting it in the water. And now I have a nice straight meat hook. I have an array of meat hooks that we made. I'm going to quickly paint them. If you use the spray paint meant for plastic, it will stay on a little bit better. I don't happen to be using that right now, but I'll tell you that will be preferable. I just don't have any on hand. I have some brown primer. And I want to hit them hard and heavy with brown primer. I did not make these all to spec because I think that homemade meat hooks are scarier than factory-made meat hooks. And I kind of just wanted this to look like some crazy guy banged them out in his garage. I'm getting it because some crazy guy did. I'm just getting as much coverage as possible. I'm not worried about this drying. I don't need it to be 100% dry before I put on the next. Next, I have Ultracover Rustoleum Orange. I like this for rust. Get the matte, not the gloss. And with this one, it speckles kind of nice out of the can. So I'm just giving these a staggered shotgunny mist. And they look good and rusty with that brown base. Then, to show what it looked like before I rusted it, I have a hammered, this is a hammered silver can, but I also love the hammered bronze. That's a great look. And this just has a little bit of texture to it, which actually makes the rust look better. And again, I don't want 100% coverage. I just want to mist them a little bit. And I'm not waiting for it to dry. Because then it kind of looks like the rust is peeking through the metal, because that's what I'm making the paint do. I will tell you that it is smarter to start with black coat hangers. Black plastic coat hangers, because then if any of your paint chips off, whatever, it's just black underneath. Hit them again with the brown primer. Same steps as before, just flipped over. And this is the one that I really want to paint on. The rest I'm just kind of misting, but this really gets painted. And don't forget the tops of your hooks. I think those are the easiest parts to miss. Hit your low angles. Now I can mist with the orange, which gives a good rusted look. And because this is hitting in speckles, it gives it a texture that it just kind of needs. Alright, now that I've got those on, I'm hitting it again with the hand hammered finished silver. And again, just misting. Okay, let these dry. I have my meat hooks. And I have some black latex paint with a lot of water in it. And I have a piece of paper towel. And a chip brush. Have antiquing liquid, which is latex paint and water, a little hunk of paper towel, and a paintbrush to apply the antiquing liquid. And I'm actually just going to paint it. I'm painting everything. I want this hook to be black. Once I paint them, I'm going to dab it off. I'm not going to wipe it. I want to dab it up because I want those splotches of paint on there. And I'm just dabbing on, making sure that it's covered, coming back, and I'm just pulling up some of it with the paper towel. Flip it over, pick up a little more. But it has kind of a speckled look to it now, and that's what I really want. And that's even going to fade out a little bit as this liquidy paint runs off of it. And now I'm just picking the watery paint up off the floor and dabbing it on, which isn't really antiquing. I was getting as much on the ground as I was on the hooks. So I'm switching. Okay, I've got my meat hook here on the table. I like to do an antique wash over them. This is just black latex paint that there is a lot of water in. Okay, and basically I just paint the whole thing, both sides. Then I take a bit of paper towel and I'm going to blot it off. I don't want to take it all up, but you can see now that I've got that mottled effect on it, and I just let that dry. I'm going to hang that onto a nail to dry. You can see the difference between one that I have antiqued and one that I haven't. Okay, and there they are right next to each other. It just adds another depth, another layer of dimension to it. That there is what a hanging meat hook looks like. Hopefully you can imagine that in a haunt set with a similar grungy paint style, maybe with a hand hanging off of it, or hung through one wrist of a human pelt. Pretty spiffy. This is a meat hook that I finished earlier, that I took a little bit of paper towel, the brown paper towel that comes on a roll. I just dipped it in the blood, crumpled it up, and I wrapped it around the hook. That's going to dry and be a nice little hunk of nasty flesh hanging off of the hook. Oh yeah. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Okay, all that's missing is the sound of flies.